Hey guys, sorry we're having some technical difficulties, which is so crazy with our Facebook series. So you probably were waiting for us to generate a video, and Holly Greif and I are just going to do it this way instead, which is on our phone. And I think she will be joining us here in the broadcast in just a minute, so I should be able to hear her request this. But I spent some time in New York City with Holly Greif, and we were working on an event. And I know a lot of you guys, I don't know if you can give me a comment in the box below. Do you guys ever go to events where you set up with a booth, where you're more like a vendor? Maybe you pay for it, maybe you don't. And how has that gone for you? Because I have to say that until working with Holly in New York City, that did not go well for me. That was something that was pretty much a waste of my time. I don't know if you guys felt the same way. I'm going to move so I can stand up with you guys. I don't know if you found the same thing, that it just ended up being a bit of a waste of time for me to do these vendor events and to, you're here and you're hearing no sound. Jane, it might be the volume on you. How about anyone else? Shannon, do you hear sound? Amanda, do you hear me? Or is it just Jane? Hey, Tracy, if someone can let me know if it's that Jane just needs to turn up the volume on her device, or is it that I truly have no sound? Which is it? Oh, good. Okay, so Tracy, you hear me. Jane, maybe your device just needs to, you just need sound on your device. Oh, good. But I don't know about you guys, but I have found that doing those events just hasn't worked for me. It hasn't been beneficial whatsoever. And it wasn't until I worked with Holly, which I'm excited to have a conversation with Holly so you can see what her team is doing. And, oh, good, Jane, I'm glad you got on. And you can hear about how vendor events for her are not only generating new customers, lots of new customers, lots of new BV, but also some possibilities. And that's the part that I think has been the best, is that they have more beans in the bean jar, and they're now doing these weekly vendor events. And I don't know about you guys, but to hear about someone doing a vendor event weekly is, I would have never advised that. And so I got to see firsthand what was working, but we also at the same time got to brainstorm some things that weren't working and some ways that we could fix it and make it better. So I'm hoping that we get Holly sometime soon so she can talk to us about this. But it was, I'll give you a little bit of backstory. I mean, this wasn't generated from Holly herself. This was generated from one of her team members. So one of her team members had said, let's do this. I have a relationship. It actually was with a local gym. And her distributor, Michelle, has worked at the gym before. And so they had access. And this was, I know, Jane, to do this weekly is pretty crazy. And I don't know if Carissa's on, but I know Carissa does, Griffin does pretty regular vendor events with her friend, her distributors, her team. And they're seeing a lot too. And so, and I just saw recently, I don't know if you guys in the group saw Catherine Longo, and that her team had worked with actually our creative department and came up with a really cool banner that was like the difference between isotonics and not. And I can find that photo and post it in the comments here so you can see what I'm talking about. But that was cool, but that's definitely has a price tag to it. But what Holly and Michelle have been doing in New York City has cost virtually no money, which is really cool. And the process of how they're getting people attracted to the booth and then engaging with them. And then we came up with, when we were together, some really good ideas so we can do it weekly. And so they're doing it in this gym so you can create more like a weekly presence within the gym. And if you go at the same time, you're going to hit the same people. So maybe one week where someone would have talked to you, or didn't talk to you because they didn't have enough time. If you're there again, then you become a familiar face. Then, I do think that they're more likely to then engage with you in future conversations. And I might just have to tell you guys what Holly's doing if we can't get Holly on directly, which is fine. I was there. I saw. We'll just turn this into that frequently asked question Friday. This is the cool part about technology and live video. I know I'm encouraging a lot of you guys to go live and to go live on your personal pages And one of the things about going live is it doesn't have to be perfect. The technology isn't always going to work. It's not going to go the way that you hope. You'll learn every time as you go. So don't try to make it perfect. You don't have to do that. So I'm going to see on my computer if I can. Will this be, what do you mean will it be available in another form, Cindy? I'm not going to transcribe it for you. I won't take the notes. I'll do a lot of work for you, but that's where I draw the line. But if you let me know, what do you mean by another form? Because I think we're just going to make it available as a video in this group. That's usually what I do. So, let's see here. My broadcast. Another video. Maybe eventually it'll go to YouTube. I don't know. It'll probably just live here as a video. All right. So let me talk to you a little bit about what Holly is doing while I am waiting for her to see if she gets back to me. So like I said, she's doing this in a gym. So what is working well for Holly? One thing that is working really well is she's attracting people to her table. So I want to talk about table attraction first. Like, how do you set up a table? I mean, we should of course be professional. So our table should look neat. It should look clean. You should make sure you have a tablecloth. Something looks really great, you know, that it's set up nicely and professionally, of course. I recommend if you have any printouts and handouts, making sure you get those professionally printed. So these aren't things that you're, running off of your home copier and, the ink is getting blurred out because you ran out of ink. If you don't want people to take handouts, let's say that you don't think you have enough or, that's just not part of the marketing strategy for you. What I typically do is I get those clear plastic binder inserts and I'll stick my things in those binder inserts, and then people kind of know not to take them when they're in the binder insert in plastic. They know it's not a handout for them. One thing that I saw recently is any sample packs you're going to give out is putting your label with them. You guys know if you give any samples of daily essentials, if you give a sample of turn up, of turn down, women's health, anti-aging, digestive enzymes, whatever our samples are, you do have to also make sure that you are giving the product label with it. So make sure you're doing that. You don't want anyone, yourself or the company, to get into any trouble with that. So that's something that is professional. That's why we've done this like baggy approach, right? So you might want to have a little bag or something that they can put it together or staple the things together. So you might want to have, even if it's just black and white, the product label information. And if you're savvy enough, you can maybe even get these printed, so there's 4 of them on one sheet. You can cut them up, so the label is with all of the sample packs. And I also recommend that maybe you get return labels printed with your contact information. I usually go to Vistaprint and create little stickers because I'll do a return label sticker with my name, my cell phone number, and my email address. And those fit really nicely on the bags. So you never know who's going to pass one to who. So I think it makes sense too to do that. So you want everything with your contact information right there. And then what I think is also, so that's how it all looks. But then how are you attracting people to you? So the first event that Holly did that I was present for, they were just engaging with people, and they were saying that they were, because they're both health professionals, that they were giving out free consultations. And so this is something that, Holly's been around with us for a while. So this is something that she was doing a dialogue consultation as part of her, scope of practice. That's totally fine with Michelle as well with what she was doing. Maybe not something I would do. I'm not a health professional, but what I would do if I was doing the same thing is I would say, listen, I'm going to sync up with you at a later time and give you a free consultation. I would send people to the NutraPhysical. Maybe do it with them at the same time online, even if I'm logging in and putting in their answers and then seeing what their printout of product recommendations is. So Holly has a system that she does for consultations. And it's not much different than like the Wellness 101, like the questions that are on there. It's pretty much what she's using. I've talked to her. All right, so So that's how she was attracting people. But it was a little bit heavy, that first event. It was a little bit heavy to try to get people to then, give enough information to, at a later date and time, book a consultation. One thing that Holly and Michelle did, they were super organized with, is they had a binder and a clipboard, and it had all of the wellness consultations, and all they needed was the people's name and information, and then they booked the time right there. It was a little heavy. So what they did the second time is they had a box, and then it had a whole bunch of envelopes, and they were all free prizes. And what they said is, do you want to pick a prize? And, it's kind of just like my daughter, we just went to the dentist yesterday, and they have a treasure chest, and it's all like blind prizes, and you put your hand in, and she doesn't know if she's going to get, a little ring or an eraser or a pencil, right? It's all blind, and she just picks in. So it's similar to that. So each of the envelopes had in there a certificate that says you get a free wellness consultation. Again, if I was doing this as just a lay person, I would say, I'm going to give away like a free health diagnostic or a free wellness diagnostic, and I would send people to either TLS Slim or the NutraPhysical. That's how I would do it as a non-health professional, but as health professionals, they were doing it a little different. And then one of the packets of, there was turn up, turn down, daily essentials, and everything, again, was labeled and had the label of, labeled with contact information and labeled with the product's label all in there. So they reached in and maybe they pulled out turn up and then a free wellness consultation. And then Holly right there took their information, tried to get some time so they could book it right there on the spot, or they could coordinate a time where they could book it. And so we were thinking of some other things as well. I was thinking of things that visually brought people to the table, where you could say things like, reach in here for a prize. One of the other things I thought is you could come up with a booth. Yep. We got Ella asking us questions. Kids just came home. Where they could come to the booth and maybe it would be about trim tea. And what I was thinking was getting a whole bunch of like golf balls or ping pong balls or pennies or something that you visually have, and having two like clear vases and something like, do you like it hot or do you like it cold? Where they can vote, like do a visual vote. And then again, you can engage with people while you're asking those questions about like, do you like it hot? Do you like it cold? Something else could be, would you want to drink your vitamins? Do you like taking pills? Yes or no? Sorry, I got little visitors here. And so, do you like taking pills? Yes or no? These kind of just like yes and no questions. Yeah, they do. But Tracy, they do like the spin wheel. I just don't know how you would buy a spin wheel and create this. So I'm always looking for things that are like low money, low investment, things like that. So, I do like the idea of like a spin wheel, or like Catherine Longo and Ginny Hall did. They did this big poster, but that was an investment. He's okay. That was like a big investment, to be able to do that. So, I want something that like around the house, like dollar store, you can put something together. Like you can absolutely get clear vases. You can get little things that you can put in there. You can have that vote. You can give away a little sample pack or whatever it is with your information. So we were thinking, I wish Holly was here because we had a whole list of things. Just aloe samples at a dental event. Yeah, that is a great conversation. And so Allison, you could say something like, I would go to the store and go buy an aloe plant, right? I would do a whole thing just on aloe. And I think keeping it simple as well, like even just offering like one or two little products, right? So it's very focused in what you do. And when you talk to people one-on-one, you can say, I have a whole catalog, but today this is what I'm featuring. I think about in like the aesthetics world, I've been to vendor events like, mom beauty events. And let's say there's someone there that does like, aesthetic services. They might just be showcasing microdermabrasion or dermaplaning or Botox, right? They're like focused on one thing, but that they do just like regular facials, all the services that they do provide, but they are just kind of niching down. So I think that there is a benefit to to absolutely niching down. I think keeping it simple and keeping it fun, thinking about things like Allison, like getting the plant, getting balloons. Everyone likes to come over for like a mint or something like that, like of course we want to keep this healthy. I would do little shots. Like I would do something, a whole thing, and it's like, come take a shot with me, and like have all different shots lined up, and like what kind of shot do you want, or mix your own cocktail, and we could mix a couple cocktails for people, or caffeine or not caffeine, like things like that. Do you want energy, like ways to attract people to that booth, engage with them, let them make a decision, let it seem like it's curious and fun. And again, this is without spending a lot of money. Yeah, Tracy, like a wellness happy hour, that's super fun. And I can see you having like, you could have like just on display bottles of wine and talk about red wine extract. And you could, have shaker bottles and martini glasses, and it looks fun, but it really like then goes back to drinking your vitamins, mixing your vitamins, cocktailing your wellness. But I think like what I see from people is that a lot of their booths just aren't fun. And you just think that, you have this booth and people are going to come, and maybe they're going to come talk to you, maybe they're not, but that, you have to, it's so heavy, right, to try to bring people to talk to you. But when things are really fun and things are out there and things are simple, just keep it simple. And that's one thing that Holly's doing really well, is she's just keeping it super simple, attracting people. So I don't know if you guys have any questions. I'm sure Holly will jump into this thread at some point and answer. But those were some of the things that we came up with, doing voting. Maybe if you do have the luxury of having a wall behind you and a poster board, like getting people to brainstorm and get ideas, people like that. So Beth, this is just the type of event. She just has a vendor booth at a gym that allowed them to do this for free. So it's not a vendor event. It's literally they just let them at the gym, because Michelle's a former employee. They let them put a booth at the gym. Here's Brody. They let them put a booth at the gym and do that for free. And it's been super simple for them. So, and they're going to the same gym weekly. You have to understand though, Tracy, that's New York City. There's like 8 gajillion, bajillion people there. So, yeah, but let's jump in. Let's get some more ideas. Brody, they say hi. Doesn't know who's there. And so, let's do that and get some more ideas. Let me know what's worked for you guys. Let me know what hasn't worked. If someone said, like, if they do have, like, access, I don't know where you would get a spinner thing. I think just keep it simple, though, in my opinion. I liked the visualization of, like, clear vases and ping pong balls, having people vote, or a poster with, like, let's brain dump, like, what's your favorite, what supplement could you not live without, and, like, an either or and tally marks or something like that. And like clearing up some of the misinformation about the industry too, which is really simple. And they're selling products. They're not selling products right there. They're selling products in the follow-up. Oh, Amanda, you have an event on Sunday. Oh, cool. I hope you use some of these ideas, Amanda. Just keep it super simple. And of course, you guys know if you ever want to jump on the phone with me for a brainstorming session or anything, I'm happy to do so. Sorry, we ran a little late, so they weren't supposed to be home. I know. All right, so I will catch up with all you guys later. Thank you so much for being patient with us. I hope this was helpful for you guys. But go out and book some events. I know this time of year, a couple of you have the opportunity to do like holiday vendor events and things like that. So I hope you do so. And I hope that they're successful for you because Holly really changed my thoughts about them. She's having tons of success. Carissa as well. I hope Carissa jumps into this video and comments about what she's been doing. But I really think this could be something that helps you guys boost sales through the end of the year. Have a great weekend. Thank you.